Welcome back to my little channel. Now unfortunately I was planning to do a lot of stuff. I was working on Who Needs Feminism series, and I was planning on making another installment of E Pluribus Unum, but my computer died not too long ago, so I don't have the files that I wanted for it. I will retrieve them once that computer gets fixed, but till that time I'm going to do something else. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to address a TED Talk by Mr. David Miliband. And why is this so interesting? Well, Mr. Miliband is basically a former politician in the UK who voted in favour of the Iraq war. He has also been coined to say that terrorism in itself is understandable and, well, it's never effective on its own, but there are circumstances in which it is effective. Yeah, that's the one. So we have someone who is in favor of war and in favor of terrorism. And now they're going to tell us, well, he is, why we should do more for the refugees. Refugees he in part created, and never mind. Let's start. This is going to be the short version.
I'm going to speak to you about the global refugee crisis, and my aim is to show you that this crisis is manageable, not unsolvable, but also show you that this is as much about us and who we are as it is a trial of the refugees on the front line. For me, this is not just a professional obligation because I run an NGO supporting refugees and displaced people around the world.
For the short version, I'm only going to respond to this. Here we have someone trying to tell us that we need to take care of our refugee problem and that we need to help these people. And who is telling us that? Someone who earns more than $500,000 a year to displace and basically traffic humans around the globe. And that person is going to tell us that we need to do more for our refugees, which is kind of funny because he's basically a human trafficker. Why are we supposed to listen to a man that makes money from trafficking refugees around? He's not interested in a solution. He's interested in making money. How do we know that? Well, he's making more than $500,000. How much of that money do you think he's going to spend helping people? He's not interested in helping people. He's interested in lining his pockets. But then again, he is a politician, so you can't really blame him. I mean, he voted in favor of the Iraq war. He once said that it is okay to use terrorism. It's not effective, but it's understandable. And this person is telling the Western world how the Western world needs to do more for the refugees. I'm seriously confused about this, because all he does is talk about how we in the West are responsible, we in the West need to help people, and at the same time he says, well, it's 65 million people in the world being displaced. Well, Europe only has about 710 million people living here. That's Europe and Russia, sorry. And somehow we are responsible of helping the 65 million people who are displaced. How about the other 7 billion people in the world? Don't they need to help and get the refugees into a safe spot? But no, the Western world needs to do this. I mean, that's how they make money. Human trafficking is a thing. NGOs profit from it. David Miliband profits from it. Remember that next time when you see or hear people tell you on how we need to help them. Anyway, that's it for the short version. Like, share and subscribe if you feel so inclined. The long version is out there too. I will have a link provided down below. It will give a little bit more info, but it's roughly the same story. The thing is, it is rather stupid that in the Western world we are trying to blame people to force them into helping refugees, even though we can ill afford to do so in the way they are trying to make it happen. And if we look in the Western world, there's only a few countries where we don't see terrorism and an increased rate of crime. Funny enough, these are the countries that do not take in refugees. Now, I'm not saying all refugees are criminals. I'm not saying all refugees are terrorists. I'm saying most of them are not. A bunch of them are, though. And this is a huge problem. It's not even a problem for everyone. It's a problem for everyone plus the refugees. But you're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to criticize the refugee handling. Couldn't find a better word for that. I mean, there have been people put to jail already because they criticized the way the European countries are handling the crisis, the refugee crisis, which is quite weird because no one has died from criticism yet. I might be wrong though. I mean, Angela Merkel might kick the bucket any moment apparently, because hey, she's really hard to fight criticism of the way they handle the refugee crisis, because that's what it's all about. Anyway, like, share, subscribe if you feel so inclined. Criticism, as always, is more than welcome. I look forward to hear from you.